When I was a little girl, my favorite movie was A Little Princess. There's one scene in that movie that is amazing, and it's at the, climax where the harshest conditions are there. She's living up in the attic. She has a little friend up there. They're both the slaves of the house, and the, warden lady of the whole place locks them in their room and says they're not gonna eat for the whole day, and they have to do double the chores and stuff like that. And so the one little girl is like, oh, what are we gonna do?
A whole day with nothing to eat. Don't cry, Becky.
And Sarah, the main character, is like, well, don't you see it? There's a great feast here, and we're wearing these beautiful clothes. And the girl's like, what do you mean? And she helps the little girl, imagine up their ideal scenario, even though it was the worst situation they could be in. And so they end up just playing and laughing and giggling like they were at this fancy party with all this delicious food, wearing diamonds and pearls and beautiful clothing.
Oh, I love sausages.
And they go to bed that night, and the next morning they wake up to what they imagined. It's so beautiful. One of the neighbors was watching them and somehow transformed their room into exactly what they had imagined.
Becky! Becky!
That scene in that movie has been in my heart and stuck with me all these years. I was like a 10-year-old girl watching it, and now at 38, a lot of times I'll go back and rewatch that part of the movie because I love it so much, and I can see the value in what it was and how it has shaped me as a person. Because a huge important part of my life now is learning to live from the future, to imagine that future, and that shapes how we act right now. This is the beautiful thing about what happens when we set the environment for our little girls to imagine, to think up their future, to get these little nuggets of wisdom, like that little part of that movie was for me, that's going to shape who they are in the future. So for example, my 8-year-old daughter, I just simply told her a little story. I came up with this story about Adam and Eve in the garden, and imagine how God gave them a pen to write. She connected with it so deeply that she was in tears because it connected to her so deeply, because she loves to write, and she saw that as a gift and how it can encourage other people. Her imagining herself in that story allowed her to, open up to, like, this is an incredible thing about me, and this is my future. Another example is my youngest daughter, 3-year-old. We talked about how her strength is a good thing, because out of all 5 of my daughters, she's definitely the most strong-willed, and I wanted to really center in on that is so good. So there was this story that I told her about a mountain lion who was really strong, and how she was able to help her little bear friend, and it was really special. She connected in a great way. And there was this one-liner that we would say all throughout the day: God made me strong and my strength is good. Well, the other night, she was fighting off a cold, and so I'm putting her to bed, and she's like, I'm not feeling good, and she's coughing. And I told her, you know what? God made your body so amazing to be able to heal. And I wasn't thinking at all about the story I had told her. And then she kind of giggled right after I said that. And then she said, God made me strong, my strength is good, with a big smile. I was like, wow, that's amazing. She connected with that. And I'm not even talking about her strength. I'm talking about getting better from a cold. And she connected that too. My strength is good. My God made me strong. My strength is good. So she's connecting that across so many different dynamics in her life. Setting up our kids in an environment of imagination is one of the most powerful and beneficial things we can do, because it's lasting. It sticks with them. It doesn't just bounce off and go away. Like it's going deep into their little subconscious mind, and it's going to be something that lasts with them into adulthood and maybe forever. I don't think I'm ever going to forget the movie A Little Princess, because those scenes were so powerful to me as a kid. Now, if this is something that's really resonating with you, I want to offer you a book that I've written called Noah and the King. And this does exactly what I'm telling you, in that it puts the little girl in the story. And it's a story about a little orphan girl that comes to the castle and lives with the king. Now, how it connects to their little heart is that as the parent, you're able to say, you know what, you are this little girl in this story, and there is a king who loves you and chooses you and wants to adopt you. We call him God, but he's really the king over everything. And so when they can connect that way, they understand it better and they imagine the story coming to life. They imagine the girl going to the castle, living with the king, having these tender and incredible moments with the king. I mean, it really just sticks and connects to their heart, so that God isn't this far off title that they just hear, you know, maybe at Sunday school or when we're reading the Bible to them, and it's not really real. Like, this type of story makes it real. No more important thing we could do as a parent than to show eternity to our kids. We are eternity bearers, we'll call it, for our kids, to help them know that the king came for them, loves them, and when they receive him, they can live forever. So once again, if that interests you, I will leave the link down in the description. I know it's going to bless you and your little girls. And having a fun resource, but also having something deep, something that lasts, something that they will remember forever.